is home to some of the world's leading economies and technologically advanced cities in the world, but it is also a perfect looking glass back into medieval times. When planning a vacation to Europe, some of the first destinations that come to mind will be the teeming cities of London, Paris, or Rome. Each of these metropolises is incredible, but they are far from all that Europe has to offer. By exploring some of the small towns across the continent, it is possible to see a more authentic, traditional side to Europe. Here's a look at the most beautiful medieval towns of Europe. Number 12. Rothenburg. Rothenburg is the common name for this German town, officially known as Rothenburg ob der Tauber. The walled city of Rothenburg sits on a plateau overlooking the Tauber River in Bavaria. The town's origins date back to the 12th century, and many of its original gates, towers, and walls have been preserved. Be sure to visit the town hall, the seat of city government since medieval times. Climb the steps of the 13th century hall's tower for stunning views of the city. Rothenburg is also famous for the stores that carry Christmas items all year round, and for having an outstanding Christmas market each December. Number 11. Tallinn. Estonia's capital on the Baltic Sea is the country's cultural hub. Tallinn entices, with its 14th-century-old town, built as a defense system. When you walk through the impressive medieval Viru gates, you can feel the history right away. Parts of Tallinn's city wall are still walkable, complete with windows where you can glimpse the charming city below. For a look into Tallinn's past, visit Rocca al Mare Open-Air Museum's typical rural Estonian taverns, windmills and watermills, see the onion-domed 1900 cathedral, or join the bustle in historic Town Hall Square. St. Olav's spire was once the tallest in the world. Number 10. Hallstatt. One of Austria's most beautiful destinations is Hallstatt, located on the banks of the Hallstätter Sea, or Lake Hallstatt. In 1997, Hallstatt was named a UNESCO World Heritage Site, a distinction partially granted due to the village's preserved architectural style, cultural practices, and ancient traditions, which can be traced back to the Iron Age, around 800 BCE. Among the most beautiful places of interest are the oldest salt mine in the world and the ossuary in Hallstatt, a romantic boat ride on Lake Hallstatt, a trip to the breathtaking cave world in Obertraun, and a visit to the Lake Gossau with the mighty Dachstein Glacier. However, in recent years, Hallstatt has become one of the most popular places to visit in Austria. Number 9. Rovinj. Located on Croatia's Istrian Peninsula in the Adriatic Sea, Rovinj is an archipelago of 20 islands with its old town set on a small peninsula. Narrow streets of cobblestone, stairways, arches, and other interesting architecture make the old town a sightseeing adventure. Some of the old town's historic gems include 7 medieval city gates, the 12th century town clock, and St. Euphemia's Basilica, an imposing Baroque church packed with many stunning artworks. Also worth seeing are the scenic harbor, Carrera Street with its many shops and art galleries, and Grizia Street, which is lined with artists and souvenir vendors. It's no wonder Rovinj is one of the most photographed coastal towns along Croatia's Istrian Peninsula. Number 8. Ronda. is a small town in Andalusia, located in and around a deep gorge. Ronda is one of the oldest cities in Spain. Its nearly impregnable position made it a stronghold against Catholic troops in the 1400s. Completed in 1793, the Puente Nuevo Bridge spanning the 30-story high gorge is one of the city's most impressive features. The city's architecture received its influence from the Romans and Moors who once ruled the area. The bridges spanning the gorge and the river are a big part of the town. It's also known as the birthplace of modern bullfighting. The town's bullfighting ring is only used once a year at the Feria Goyesca, but it's also a museum where you can learn about the history of this traditional sport. Number 7. Bern. The capital city of Switzerland is built around a crook in the Ahr River. It traces its origins back to the 12th century, with medieval architecture preserved in the Altstadt, Old Town. Its most famous attraction is an ancient clock tower with moving puppets that once served as the western gate of the city. Other popular sites in Bern include the Munster, a Gothic cathedral that rises from the old town, and its town hall. The bear is the symbol of Bern, with several being kept in an open-air pit. Shoppers will appreciate the old town that boasts 4 miles of arcades, making it one of the longest covered shopping areas in Europe. Between all of the sites on offer, the city also offers you plenty of nature and a chance to refresh yourself on the river air. Number 6. Colmar. Situated in the Alsace region, Colmar's proximity to Germany has meant that it has changed hands numerous times between the two nations over the course of its history. Colmar is a photographer's dream, with its labyrinth of cobbled lanes, flower-lined canals, and timber-framed houses painted in a rainbow of pastel hues. It's the quintessential Alsatian town, brimming with traditional restaurants and surrounded by vineyards and medieval castles. Churches and museums are dotted around the place, and the Isenheim altarpiece is particularly impressive to behold. Number 5. Delft. A popular day trip destination from Amsterdam, it is easy to see what makes Delft such an attractive option. With its lovely medieval center and picturesque canals crossed by brick bridges and lined with trees, the city is quaint and peaceful. The city's name comes from the Dutch word for digging, fitting since canals are a highlight here. Its most famous son, the painter Johannes Vermeer, is just one of many who has sung its praises over the ages. Delft is known as the manufacturing base for Delftware, hand-painted blue and white pottery. Visiting the Delftware factories is popular among tourists. Delft makes for a great day trip for most visitors to the Netherlands. Number 4. Brasov is one of the most popular places to visit in Romania, and it is famous for a reason. Brasov is in central Romania and is the country's 7th biggest city. The city has an interesting history, fascinating old town architecture and medieval Saxon walls. Historic town square with a Gothic focal point, hosting cultural events and markets amid historical buildings and views of Tampa Mountain. The main square has loads of cafes and restaurants if you simply want to grab a coffee and watch the world go by. Checking all the best things to do in Brasov will keep you busy for a few solid hours, and most likely you will not be disappointed. Number 3. M.Saint-Michel. This famous fortified island is located around a kilometer off the northwestern shores of Normandy in France. The mount draws the eye from a great distance. This staggeringly beautiful location has long captured the imagination. Walking around M.Saint-Michel might feel as if you have been transported back to another time. The monastery here dates back to the 8th century and is still in use today. The old walls and chapels are intriguing places to explore. At high tide, waters make the island seem as if it is a floating fortress in the sea. Previously only reachable by foot or car during low tide, the island can be reached at any time on foot along a bridge built in 2014. Number 2. Dubrovnik. Often called the Pearl of the Adriatic, this small city on the Dalmatian coast has it all. Dubrovnik is one of the prominent places to visit in the Mediterranean. Located at the southern tip of Croatia off the Adriatic Sea, Dubrovnik was established in the 7th century on maritime trade. With orange rooftop houses sitting in contrast to the blue sky, Dubrovnik presents many sightseeing treasures. A UNESCO World Heritage Site. Since 1979, Dubrovnik is surrounded by gorgeous medieval ramparts that have been preserved in their original form and are one of the city's main attractions. Dubrovnik was also the main filming location in Croatia for King's Landing, a fictional city in Game of Thrones, the famous HBO's television series based on the series of fantasy novels, A Song of Ice and Fire. For those who have seen the series and are passionate about it, a visit to Dubrovnik will become a beautiful déjà vu because of the way in which it was so well integrated into the setting of the series. Number 1. Heidelberg. Home to the oldest university in Germany, Heidelberg was hit hard during 17th century wars and rebuilt in the 18th century with Baroque buildings, is a city in the south of Germany. Be sure to take in Heidelberg Castle, the symbolic heart of the city, Alte Brücke, a beautiful 18th century bridge, and the student jail. Built as long ago as the 16th century, it was used to keep mischievous students off the streets for 3 days to a month at a time, and they say Penn State is the #1 party school.